Okay, hi everyone. Welcome to JEDi episode 6. My name is Jimmy, and with me today are Ethan and David. For those of you viewing our Facebook Live for the first time, and if you want to know more about us and the name JEDi, do check out our first episode in the video section. I'll be the moderator for this. So here's how we're going to run through this. We will first have a fireside chat on insurance and investments. We have no questions to raise during the previous episode. All right. And then next, we'll go on to the bonus section on how much investment returns is required for five-term investment. And last but not least, we will have a Q&A section for the current episode. So feel free to post your questions in the comment section below, and we will address them during the Q&A. Okay. So without further ado, let's move on to the fireside chat itself. I'll let Ethan start the ball rolling. Ethan?
Okay, so hi everyone, I'm Ethan, the founder of PolicyWoke. So today we are just going to talk about investment and insurance, basically ILP. So just to give a basic understanding of what is ILP over here. Okay, so it's actually a mix of insurance and investments. I believe quite a number of people have said that this is not a very good mix, but it totally really depends on how you make use of your ILPs because they are structured very differently. And very common, you just require a much lower amount to start an ILP, although we would actually advise you to have higher amounts because of the fees involved. So there are actually many different types of ILP. So we've covered about 3 broad aspects over here. So the first one is the very commonly seen in Singapore for the past 20 years. They are actually protection ILPs, where normally their premium allocation in the initial years, basically the amount of money that put in will be a lot lesser. For example, let's say you have $100, right? So only maybe for the first 1 to 3 years, $30 will be allocated into the investment. So this is normally what we call front-end loaded also. So we also have the very new up-and-coming investment ILPs, which actually 100% premium invested, but they do have many surrender fees, which is what we term as back-loaded products. So they actually invest 100%, but if you take out too prematurely, they'll penalize you a lot. We also start to see there's a hybrid kind whereby 50% will go into an endowment fund, 50% will go into investment ILP. So it's just basically merging 2 different aspects together. So that's what we have been looking at. There's also one more type, which is investment ILP, but people will attach term riders to the investment ILP. So that works too, but it depends on how you structure all the products. So there's no such thing as absolutely bad unless the investment ILP is really very bad by itself. Okay, so how do you determine your fees? So for us, we try to give a very simple and layman terms to determine your fees. So just to have an understanding, how many of you know what is kopi luwak?
No, I don't know what it is.
Okay, so basically kopi luwak is a very atas type of coffee. It's to put it bluntly, the shit of the cigarette cap. Yeah.
Cat shit coffee.
Correct. But okay, we also have Starbucks, Kopitiam, and DIY coffee. So each different Starbucks. So you have to recognize that in our daily life, there is really a lot of fees that you are paying. So for money changer, there's also the bid spread. So let's say, for example, it's maybe 1 SGD to 1 AUD. But when you try to buy AUD, you will only get 99 cents of it for every $1. But when you try to sell away your Australian dollar, you must give them $1.01 just for $1 Sing dollar. So this is actually the bid spread amount that they charge inside, which is the fees involved. And the most common one is maybe the food and beverage service fees that we frequently see. So that one is just a service fee of 10% surcharge and 7%, or upcoming maybe 9% GST surcharge. So all these are also fees in this hand. So in order to determine your ILP's fees, right, it may be easier to understand your end objective benefit illustration, because it is one of the simplest way to look at it. It's actually a table of maybe the face value or the surrender value that you will get back based on amount of returns. So IRR is actually the internal rate of returns, which is also versus the investment returns. So in your benefit illustration, right, at the top, you will see maybe 4% investment returns, 8% investment returns. But when you calculate it properly, the IRR may only be 2.5 or 3%. So in between, so what comes in between is actually the fees that is taken from the policy to pay the insurer, to maintain the policy. So that is how you can determine your fees from ILP at a very quick glance. So for ILP fees, typically, this is actually an example of a typical 101 ILP, investment ILP, where it's under a company. We just call it the APA plan. So there's normally a supplementary charge of 2.5%. It can range from 1 year to 12 years depending on how it's structured. There is a benefit charge, which is the insurance cost that may also be charged. There's also premium holiday between 30 to 2.5%. 30 in the sense that you only pay for 1 year, then you take premium holiday, it will be that high. So 30% will be charged to the funds. And at the end of maybe 11 years, going to 12 years, if you take premium holiday, you'll be paid a 2.5%. So that is how the ILP will do their back loading charge. So there's also surrender charge. It range quite a number up to 2.5%. So when you surrender your policy, you still have to pay this charge. So all these are actually trying to make you keep the money in the ILP first before. And for the fund management, this is actually separately outside of the ILP, but it's actually inside when you choose the fund. So normally it's between 0.5, but typically it's between 1.25% to 1.5%. But for the fund amount, right, it's already net of it. So we should not be looking at the fund management fees, but it's just for an idea. And there's also lastly the bid and offer spread charge, which has in many ILPs, they have already removed this. Yeah. So this is our ILP fund currently. So David is managing this ILP. So maybe David, you would like to share more about it?
Sure. Recently we got this ILP, which we purchased secondhand, and I've been tasked to manage this. So when we first got it, it was in mid-April, and the net asset valuation was at about 10.5K, and we were looking at the bond ratio. It's about 60%, and at the time I thought it might be a good idea to reshuffle slightly. So the next month you notice that our bond ratio is up to about 70%. So this is a bit on the safer side. So we want to be a bit more conservative nowadays. And the gross NAV went up about 10%, but this includes the premium that was added in every month. So the real net asset valuation change is about 3%, and this is within 1 month. So it shows you how volatile the the markets are. So 3% in a month is actually quite high. Yeah. So as of today, when I check the valuation, it's at about 13.4K, and the bond ratio is about 67%. So what happened was that the equity part of the allocation went up because equities went up faster than bonds. So that's why the bond ratio reduced slightly. So I will have to continue rebalancing this to make it more conservative. And similarly, you see the net NAV for June. This went up another 3%. And this is not even 1 month. This is just 2/3 of 1 month. So it's a bit high nowadays. So if you heard this morning or yesterday night, the stock markets dropped 7% overnight. So it's because prices have been going up really fast. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, David, for your sharing. So we have a very special guest that actually agreed to come on the show. So if you have a lot of questions about insurance and investments or even ILPs, you may talk to him also. So let's welcome the veteran in the industry. He's in the industry for 15 years and counting, and he himself has a team of experts which put together to make this a success. So let's welcome Glenn.
Yeah. Hi everyone, thanks for the introduction, Ethan. Okay,
Sure.
so actually they invited me to come to this Facebook Live. I was also wondering that what is the thing that I can share with you guys. So probably I'll just take a stand on what's my take in insurance and investments. It's a two separate thing, two separate elements. If you are expert in doing your own investment, by all means go ahead and do so. If you are not so pro in doing your own investment, look for some experts to help you on that. Okay, be it, I think there's a lot of platform like Sydney and stuff like that. They got a lot of writings and stuff. Or look for financial advisors to help you do so. Main thing is make them do your investment to what you want. Okay, what is your main objective for investments? Okay, so in terms of insurance, okay, some of them come to me and saying, Glenn, which one is better, term insurance or even a whole life plan? Well, depends on the needs that you're really facing, depends on what the budget that you're also looking at, and does it really surface to what you need in life or not? Imagine you're still very young and you have just a newborn, and then you have to spend your money to pay for your house, pay for this, pay for that. Yes, term insurance is actually a better option. Okay, but as time progresses, whole life plan with multiples and stuff like that is actually embedded a term inside it. It's something for your own consideration, is within your budget. So that's probably the take on just insurance and investment alone. Then another question that they always pose to me, Glenn, so is it possible that I can mix both together? Well, last time used to be also ILP where the sum assured is they can add sum assured to what your investment is. Yes, the charges is high because based on the age group that you enter, and as your age get wiser, of course your charges will get higher. So you eat into your returns. So, but then if nowadays as the term insurance is getting cheaper and cheaper, so which means that embedded in terms of the insurance inside the investments, it might also get cheaper in a sense. So end day, is that really what you want? And is that really what you're looking out for? So you have to be very clear about what you want. So that's probably my take in insurance and investments.
Okay, so Glenn, I want to check with you. Let's say I want to put some money with you to invest. How is there any minimum amount?
Okay, there's no minimum amount that's required. You can start from as low as even $100 a month. Okay, that's how you can go. Even for single premium, you can even as low as $1,000. Okay, end day, is it spare cash from your side, or is it something that you just want to squeeze out for the sake of like fear of missing out in the market and stuff like that? Work towards your budget. That's my advice.
Let's say if right now I have say 10K in Singlife and I'm wondering if I can use it for better purposes. So can I just put it as a lump sum and have it invested for the long run?
Okay, long-term basis, there's only one thing called uptrend. Okay, and also depends on which is the area that you want to enter. If assuming that, for example, you want to enter in the US market, currently US market is hovering at a high, Nasdaq has just created new high, and okay, that was the time I have 10,000, I want to go into Nasdaq. Yes, you can still make some profit, but you must also know what is the risk behind it. Are you comfortable to lose at least 30% of your 10,000, or you lose 10% of it and you can't sleep at night? So take a look at your risk management. Okay, so don't need to be so scared that you fear of missing out of the market. Don't worry, there's always a lot of market for you to invest in, so it's only a matter of your patience.
Okay, maybe for me, right,
Thank you.
can I just check with you, what is your view on fees? So, for example, we may pay a lot of fees nowadays, like delivery fee also, we are paying like 30 to 40% more. So, why do you think some people want to pay so much actually? I mean, it's just food, right? So, in this term, if we translate to investment, why would people want to pay 2 or 3% fees, for example?
Okay. I just brought you the story of a Coca-Cola, a can of Coca-Cola. In NTUC fair price, right? How much does a can of Coke cost? Anyone?
Maybe 60 cents, 70 cents.
Okay. 60 cents, 70 cents, right? Then if let's say I go to Ritz-Carlton, one can of Coke costs how much?
$5.
Probably
$5.
$10, $15.
Around $10, right? So what's the difference between a Coke in Ritz-Carlton and a Coke in NTUC fair price? It's a similar Coke, right? Manufacturing from the same place, right? Doesn't mean that the Coke in Ritz-Carlton has more bubbles or much more gassy and stuff like that, right? Cannot be, right? So it's the same. But end day is that, is it the environment? I'll link environment to individual advice that how you're going to come to it, okay? And you're paying for the premium for it. People are still enjoying Coca-Cola in Ritz-Carlton. They won't say that, oh, yeah, stop, I don't want to drink so. Why? Because you tell me that it's so expensive. Okay? So end day is really boils out to the advice that you got. For example, you pay $10, then the person said that this Coke itself is like, hey, got more bubble. Well, you can actually drink with a slice of lemon or put a slice of lime inside it, it'll taste better. Okay? That's where the expertise came about. If you are doing in terms of this investment, you go into this thing, I give a certain advice, you look, okay, you're going to go over here, you can go in, but please don't go in all at one go. Take a strategy behind it. Okay, all this strategy, there will be some expertise behind the view. If you don't agree with those strategy, don't go with the agent. Okay, don't go with the agent. And then, of course, the charges is still there. Definitely, everybody have to survive. Okay, it's only a matter that can they earn back what they charge to you. Okay, let's take another example. For example, that you go a DIY. The DIY platform itself can charge you 1% of platform fee. Okay, then your own management, wow, very good. You can earn 3% per annum. So end day your rate of return is only 2%. But if you go to the advisor can charge you like maybe 3%. Okay, end day the returns give you 6%. So 6 minus 3, your rate of return is 3%. So we'll prefer to have the 2% or you have the 3%. Your call.
So talking about cost, right, Glenn, what's your fees like for investment?
Okay, my upfront fee is 3%. That's my upfront, and my annual fee is 1%. Okay, and sometimes my friends kind of say, hey Glenn, why you charge so high? Or because of active management, the advice that I'm professional in the terms of advice that I've given to clients. Okay, and also that I don't base on the amount that, okay, I give you more, I charge you lesser. No, to me, every single dollar of my client counts. Okay, doesn't mean you give me 1,000, I charge you higher, and then I do the more work for you and stuff. No, it's the same. Okay, every $1 is the same as $1. Doesn't mean that $1 costs 120 for this person or 130 for this person. No. So that's the reason why I always price across the board for all my clients.
Oh, that's good. Just to be clear, the 3% is a one-time, right? It's not every year, right?
Correct. It's a one-time upfront charge. Yeah.
So it's basically 1% per annum, lah. Not very high.
That's not exactly very hard lah. I mean, if end date normally, if we go on the normal bond basis, right, you should be able to get back around 2 to 3%. Yeah.
Okay, so I think Jimmy, you have this question, right? About
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand. So Glenn, I have a question. From your investment strategy, in terms of the what you call risk to reward, do you aim for a higher reward risk ratio?
Okay.
More of a 1-to-1 risk to reward. Yeah.
Okay. I seldom look for 1:1 reward. Definitely, in terms of my investments, right, I always look for gems in the market where I take a severe beating. Okay, then I will enter it. Main thing, whenever I enter an investment, I will make sure I manage my risks. I never manage my winnings. I must always ask myself, if let's say I put 100,000 in, how much can I lose? 10%, 20%, or more. Okay, but if I cannot stomach the risk, I will not want to enter that investment. And also, of course, the things that I don't know, I will never touch. Okay, so I will always look for low risk, high reward basis in terms of my investments. Okay, I hope you answer your question, Jimmy.
Okay, good. Thanks.
Okay, so what is your view on commission-based and fee-based? Yeah.
Okay. When I joined this industry like 16 years back, people have been telling me that Singapore had to follow like in UK, go into fee-based, go into this, go into that. But 16 years down the stretch, right, I'm still wondering how much fee-based we can go into. Okay, whether the agent is still surviving in this industry, or is it the fee-based is not so widely populated. Currently, if let's say, for example, I go to a lawyer, yes, lawyer take our time in terms of per hour they charge you and stuff like that. How many of us in Asia willing to do so? It's never easy, and it's never the, how I put it, ongoing. I won't say that it won't happen. It might happen to a certain extent, but there will be a hybrid model towards behind it, rather than just really on fee base.
Okay, thank you, Glenn, for your answers. Maybe before we continue the fireside chat, we shall talk about the bonus session first. Then maybe Glenn can give his view also.
Sure.
Okay, so this is a bonus section that everyone is waiting for. So a guide to ETIR, buy, term, invest the rest. So this is something that I have done it myself. I compared plenty of plans across the board, and this is what I found. So for life plans, if you just buy a life plan, I think any savings plan at 2% can beat it for the returns. So it totally doesn't make sense to buy a life plan for now, because term insurance premiums are really very cheap. But for CI plan, it takes a much more difficult percentage to beat. Even ECI multi-pay is 6% to beat. So you really need to look at what is opportunity cost to understand whether you should buy term, invest the rest or not. So to me, context is very, very important in this case. So, okay, on to Glenn. What do you think about this then?
Opportunity cost to me is also equally important. Okay, it still boils down to the objective of what client wanted. Yeah, I mean, I give my sharing session with my team and stuff like that. I always like to advise them to do separate both investment and also for their coverage. But nowadays, when I do investment, I will add on things like waiver into the picture, so that at least they are protected in a sense for such thing. Okay, because end day we do not know what will happen, and accident do happen, so that's always the main criteria. And of course, that if I were to add coverage into the investment policy, I will ensure that the critical illness is not being added, because of the charges will be much higher. Okay, so it's either to separate that kind, like for example, what I mentioned, the ECI and multi-pay, do a separate policy. What within your budget, do a separate policy, and then just look out from there.
Okay, thank you, Glenn, for your sharing. So maybe we can take a look at any further questions from the public first.
Okay. Thanks, Ethan, David, and Glenn for the fireside chat and the bonus section. So without further ado, let's move on to the Q&A. So do we have any questions? Okay, I actually have one question for Glenn.
Sure.
So as you can see, last night the majority of US stock market went down quite significantly, especially the S&P 500. So your view, is this the start of a downtrend of the stock market, or is this just a correction? It's just noise. What are your thoughts?
Okay. It happened actually last night while we are sleeping, right? While we are sleeping, like Dow Jones dropped 6% or even 7%. S&P dropped a couple of few percent and stuff like that. Based on one day, I can't give my full definition of whether is it a profit taking or is it really a end of the bullish cycle. But particularly, I'm from the bearish camp. Apologies. I'm from the bearish camp. Why I say so? Because look forward ahead, a couple of months' time, it has actually a lot of countries will start to report their figures. Okay, be it whether is it they price it or not. And if you notice that Starbucks start to close down some shops, Zara start to close down another few shops. So these are all the more popular names. And once they close down, there's also linked to unemployment rate across the world. Okay, and once across the world they are closing down, which are the sector that might be affected? The REIT sector. Okay, so once the REIT sector is affected, they will tend to borrow more money. So all these things have to come into the picture. Okay, government can help to a certain extent, but then again, economic cycle is a bit interesting. I can say that once we declare we are in recession, it'll be good to buy in some whenever we say that we are in recession. Okay, don't buy in all first, buy in some. Buy in some, yeah. Because 10 days, later Glenn said one or recession, all buy in, all in. Then later go further down, look for Glenn. No lah. Strategize your investment, okay? Do strategize your investment. Go in terms of certain portion, because we cannot master the chart. Okay, the market is the one that can control us. We can't control the market. Okay, so always have a precaution behind you whenever do any investments. So S&P 500, back to this thing is that I'm still not so fully bullish about this thing. I'm still quite bearish about the trend currently. This morning might be one of the indicators that we have. I got to monitor for the next couple of days. Probably next week we can have a clearer picture whether is it really a start of the bearish again. But I can only say that there will be another wave incoming for S&P 500.
Okay, before we continue, we have to make this clear. This is a disclaimer.
Correct.
All this does not represent any company's views. It's all opinions. So take all these opinions with a pinch of salt, because the market is always the leader. We are just people in the market, correct?
Correct. Totally agree.
Okay, cool.
I have a question for Glenn about this. So you're saying every time you hear like recession, then you just buy in a bit. When you say a bit, right, do you mean like 1% of your net asset, or do you mean like 2%, or is there any particular range?
Okay. In terms of assets, right, I also got to declare. Sometimes I have client that assets only got 10,000. So if let's say 1% of 10,000 is only like maybe few hundred or 100 of it. Okay, so it boils down to what is the asset that you have, be it tangible asset or be it some assets that you can use for yourself. Okay, the person individually must know. For my role is I can only make it clear that okay, these are all your assets. What is the percentage you are comfortable with? Okay, this asset must be comfortable that you cannot lose on. Once you start losing this asset, right, you'll grow crazy, bang your head against the wall, and at night cannot sleep, heart attack and stuff like that, right? Reduce your asset. Reduce your asset. And in terms of my strategy to my client, it's very simple. I will do in terms of 5 layers kind of investments. Okay, each at 20%. Okay, and my layers going in, right, is never one time how many percent drop or go in. No, I will find a base for them to enter in terms of when I do my own analysis. Once they are agreeable, we'll do so. So that's how we invest over here.
Okay, so is there any like for example, let's say your net asset is your cash, your liquid assets, your property, your hard assets, your CPF, everything in, right? How much of this are you currently invested in?
Okay, currently I'm 80% invested in. Mine is 80%.
80%.
Yeah, for my own liquidable asset.
Oh, so 80% of the liquid assets.
Yes, correct. Then that's
Okay.
for my own. For my own, because I must have my own risk. I'm knowing on my own risk. Doesn't mean I use 80 is a golden figure. No, 80.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, 80 is now a golden figure. But then again, is that to me, I did my own risk assessment. Okay, I have this 80% into this thing. Yeah, it can able to tide me through, and at night I can still sleep. No worries on that. Okay, now it's the only thing that make sure that every month there's still incoming lah.
So you're considered quite aggressive like, in terms of risk?
I would say yes. Probably due to the my background of this thing, and I've been through a few investment cycle, as an economic cycle, so at least I know where I'm heading to.
When was the last crisis?
Last crisis, you want the small one or you want the major one?
Major one, no?
Major one, 2007 to 2008. That's the layman brother.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
At that time, were you also 80%?
No, at that time I was still very young. I
Oh,
only know this crisis.
okay.
I didn't know about this thing. Yeah. So over the years, that is really from experience accumulation. Because I believe a lot of generations that currently we are facing, we have not faced such economic situation before. Okay, and we don't really know how do we face this thing. Okay, so sometimes it's good to learn about history. Like one of my mentor did a presentation this morning, and I just heard it and listened. Look back, learn the history. Look at the history and then learn how we can profit from the history and apply it to the current. So that's how I learn.
Yeah, I think we have yet to know what is your expertise for investment. I think we have not touched on this yet.
Expertise in investments. Anything that I know, I have invested in, like for example, forex, commodities, unit trust, ETF, shares. Okay, all these I have experience in doing so. Okay, but if you come to me asking me about options and stuff like that, my view is I don't know them. It's too alien to me because there's too much of complication. Okay, so I like to take simple. Okay, can up there I buy, can down there I short. That's my style. And then I'm more a technical analysis kind of personnel. I don't do fundamental because once I read into their report book, I will just fall asleep. I have a few report books I can just put under my bed and then put my head and just sleep. Hopefully it can get to my mind, but cannot. Sad to say I tried, but cannot.
Okay. In this case, let's say if there are people who might want to find maybe more into fundamentals, so do you have someone in your team to recommend also?
Fundamentals. Okay, my team, we do have someone who's doing accounting. Okay, we have someone with accounting background. Okay, we also have some with fundamental in charge of this thing. That means they are strong in their fundamentals in a sense. Okay, of course, their England is much better than me, so they can read more about that. So that's one of the point. And because to me, I'm the kind of lazy one. I just like to look at chart, look at figures, and I roughly know where I want to hit to. When it comes to all the alphabet add up together, I think it's just just can make me sleep. That's how this thing goes.
So personally, is there any particular asset class that you are heavy in? Like, is it stocks or is it unit trusts?
Okay, I would say that I'm heavy on unit trusts. Okay, I'm heavy on unit trusts as of now. Why I say so? Because I don't have the time to go and read all the fundamental of individual company. Okay, even I want to do the technical of each individual company, I also do not have the time. Because normally one chart I look at it, I spend around like 10 to 15 minutes, go from monthly to weekly to daily to 1 hour to the head in and head out. I think I would not want to do so. Like I mentioned, I'm the kind of I'm not very hyperactive kind of person. Okay, so I will leave it to the fund manager. Of course, I will do my own research on the fund manager. I look at the fund that they manage, and then I look at where is their sector that they invest in, which are the areas that actually they enter before I make my own decision. Because that's one thing that I don't really like, because most fund managers say that their fund is the best. But in fact, in one Asia market, there's so many funds, so which one is the best? So that's where I come in and then I just look at what they are invested in and then I just make my decision from there. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I hope I answered the questions.
Yes, thanks.
So let me check. Do we have any questions from the comment section? Yeah, I think there's no questions.
Okay, I think I saw one guy, Christopher, mentioned that the guy's bearish about the market, but is 80% invested in the market. Okay, my investment in the market, right, doesn't mean I go into equities. I can be defensive into bonds. Okay, waiting for opportunity to enter to equities. Okay, so well, I hope you answer the guys to Christopher what you mentioned over there.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think the main thing is not about timing the market, but rather to be in the long to be in the market for a long time.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's the main gist of it.
Yes, agreed.
Did the screen go blank or something?
Ethan, the screen. Okay, now it's fine. Yeah. Okay. Yes. So.
Okay, you guys still have any other questions?
No, looks like there's no more questions. Ethan and David, any more questions?
How long does it take to start an investment? Like, say if I have 10K now, I want to put it in, would I need 1 week or 1 month before I can start investing?
Probably 1 week, 1 week's time.
What's the process like?
Okay, of course we got to have currently we're supposed to meet up face to face, but due to the COVID situation, we got to go on non-face to face. At least have a discussion of what this 10,000, what is your objective, where you are lead this 10,000 to. Okay, then we finalize on the objective. We will sit down with a strategy. Then we fill out the application and then do the submission of application, and then you do the transfer to the third party platform, and you can start doing it.
So that will take about 1 week, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay, great, thanks.
So I think before that you will be doing some work like the customer, know your clients, understanding your client's risk profile. That before that also, right? So it will actually take more than one week already.
No, I mean everything will be under that. Like I mentioned that once we do a non-face to face, nowadays technology is there. Non-face to face, you can do a Zoom call and stuff like that. It's all within that session. Firstly, is to understand. I mean, firstly, they must agree with what I'm doing. Okay, they must also comfortable with what I'm doing. Okay, then from there we can process the paperwork, because by then we should actually lock down their objective already. Okay, so everything can be within the situation, and then they can go back and think about it. And then once they feel that okay, comfortable, they want to start. Yeah, we'll start from there. 1 week from there.
Okay, cool. Okay, is that all?
Yeah, that's all for me.
Okay, can. Looks like there's no more questions. So with that, we are going to end this episode. So before we end this episode, let me mention something. We have officially changed our email address domain to policywoke.com. So with immediate effect, our new email address is JEDi@policywoke.com. So it's easy. Okay, so with that, yeah, we're going to end this episode. We thank you for tuning in and all the questions you have for us. Feel free to post more questions in the comment section and we will address them during the next episode. So speaking of the next episode, join us next Friday, 5 p.m. for JEDi episode 7 on credit card hacks, part 1. If you like our content and be notified for future episodes, do like our page on Facebook, share this post with your friends, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Then if you want to know more about the pre-owned insurance policies that we have for sale, you may consider buying for your own savings plan. Do join us on Telegram channel, and we'll share with you more details about that. Right? So if there's nothing else, we hope to see you next Friday